Hello my friends, welcome back to our channel. We went to Canada and I talked about it a little bit in a previous video and then we never shared what the experience was like and we've been back for months. So I thought I would sit down today, talk to you about some of the things that we did in Canada and kind of break it up over I think 4 or 5 videos because I did film a little bit when I was there, but it's quite disjointed. So I thought I would sit here, do a little story time. If you want to see what it was like when we went back to Canada, keep watching. So as I mentioned, we went back to Canada. It had been over 2 years that I hadn't been able to go home. So it was obviously really nice to see some friends and some family and have like every food that I was missing. So we got into Edmonton, I believe we left on a Tuesday and then we got there Tuesday afternoon. It is a short, it's not that terrible of a flight. To me, 8 hours isn't that terrible, but obviously when you are going back in time, I find the jet lag to be quite bad. Paul finds the jet lag to be quite bad and it was a bit of a struggle, but be it that I can work remotely, even though I was waking up early, that gave me time to do some work in the mornings before I, got out and about when I was at home. So we got in on a Tuesday afternoon and then we went to go get some Chinese food. My dad doesn't feel comfortable. He's at that stage in the pandemic where he doesn't feel comfortable dining in places. In Alberta at that time, you could dine in places if you've been vaccinated, but if you hadn't been vaccinated, then you could not dine in places. My dad is vaccinated, but he still didn't feel comfortable, so we just got some takeout and ate food at home. We had never had Chinese food in Canada the last time we were there, and I always complain about Chinese food here in England. So it was nice for him to try it and just compare the two. I think he agrees that Canadian Chinese food is a bit better than UK Chinese food. Although UK Chinese food has crispy seaweed and Canadian Chinese food does not. Ready? We made it onto the coach this time. Last time we cried. So the day after we got in, 9 a.m., I had a doctor's appointment booked and I walked in, sat down, and then like the door opened and my doctor, he's been my doctor since I was a little girl. And like he just walked in and he's like, "Did you miss me?" And I was like, "Yeah." Getting a doctor's appointment here in the UK is like finding gold dust. It was like that before, never mind now during the pandemic. So when I went home, I went and spoke to my doctor about some of my concerns, and that has actually allowed me to kind of get back to the UK and hit the ground running. So I went for some blood work, I went for an ultrasound. I was able to get a lot of things done. Now, I was not driving this last time I went home to Canada, and my girlfriend Jenny, she picked me up, and her daughter Olivia was with us, and they took us around. And it was so amazing that my doctor was able to get me in for a ultrasound, but it was in the next kind of town over. So it did take us some time to get there, and the appointment was for later in the afternoon. So my friend Jenny and I and Paul and Olivia, we went to Chapters and we got to show Paul that, which again is like basic, but there's so many things that Paul doesn't understand or can't, picture because he hasn't experienced it. And then he got to experience his first Denny's, a moon's over my hammy. And yeah, that was a cool experience as well. And then we also got to stop in at my friend Kristen's store. So Kristen has it's like a general, like if you're in the UK, you'd probably call it like a general store where there's like a lot of local and handmade goods that she sells in there. And I didn't tell Kristen that I was coming. I knew the name of the store, so I just looked up the address. And then when I went in, one, I met her partner, but her partner has never met me. And obviously you have masks on. So I was like, hey, it's Nicole. Hi. I was like, where's Kristen? And then I walked into her back office and then she started crying and it was super sweet. But I think the next time I go home, I have to kind of conduct things in that type of manner where I just surprise people, not because you're trying to be so grandiose, but because when you surprise people and you don't make plans with people necessarily, there's not as much pressure on you to stick to a schedule, because sometimes you're going to be jet lagged, sometimes you're not going to have a vehicle, sometimes, you know, the time just gets away with you. So it was really nice to pop into Kristen's store and see her, and it was in a manner that we could actually commit to. So after I went to Kristen's store, we then got in for my ultrasound. That was an experience. I have a whole series coming for you at some moment in time where you'll find out everything, but that's all I can say right now. And then that was it for our first day, our first 2 days. We then went back to the house and just kind of regrouped and AKA chilled out because the jet lag was hitting us hard. And then my friend Paulina came over, and when Paulina came over, we went to Starbucks and we then went for a walk at like the park that's closest to my house and just went for a walk around the park. We went on a lot of walks because, again, what it was like in Edmonton or what it was like in Alberta was a completely different place to what it was like in England when we left. If you weren't vaccinated, you couldn't go in. You could maybe go in and order something, but you couldn't dine in anywhere. Yeah, so it really did dictate what we could do and what we couldn't do. And it was really interesting. It was interesting to, when people would tell you if they were vaccinated or if they weren't vaccinated. If they weren't vaccinated, it was like, they were like, just so you know, we're not vaccinated. And it was almost as if they were giving us bad news. And I just found it to be a lot more political in Canada with the vaccinations than it has been here in the UK. Okay, Paul Davis. We've been gallivanting everywhere today, haven't we?
Yeah.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem a bit tired.
Struggling.
Okay, so we went to Chapters. What do you think of Chapters?
Chapters, yes.
Oh, wait, no. Where did we go first? We went to Home Depot. What did you think of a Canadian?
B&Q. Canadian B&Q. It's very much like B&Q.
Yeah.
But yeah, friendlier.
So after we went to B&Q, then we went to Chapters, and I mean, did we get anything? We didn't get anything from there, but Chapters is always an experience.
But we could have done.
Yeah,
it was
we
massive.
We could have, yeah. It's huge.
Yeah.
And to think, like, 5 minutes down the road is another one.
Yeah.
Like, nicer
yeah, but
one.
that's good, though, because people don't read enough.
Yeah, true. And, yeah, then then I had another doctor's appointment, and we did a little bit more kind of wandering and perusing. But then we stopped into Sherwood Park and saw my friends Kristen and Cindy, and that was their cool shop. It's like customs, like little independent knick-knacky type store. So that was really cool. So we'll show you some of the footage of that. Hold on, let Paul tell you about it because he really wants to let you know. So what do they have in there?
Pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs. What else?
Like treats for your dogs.
Yeah.
Candles of like every size and shape.
Yeah.
They had like baby clothes.
Baby clothes, yeah.
What else did we get? Beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Did I mention the pickled eggs?
Yeah. So as you can see, today's been a little bit of a mismatch. Oh yeah, Livia, my friend's daughter, she made me this little bracelet. How cute.
And a really cool painting.
Yeah, I have peach skin and peach hair. Looks exactly like me. But yeah, it was so great to see them. Like, I think this trip, even though there's not a lot, we don't have a lot planned, that is allowing me to do things a little bit more with ease. But yeah, we're just taking a quick chill out break, and then I think my friend Paulina is going to come over, maybe go get a coffee because it's needed. And then my dad, this morning before he went to work, he called. Sorry, I'm trying to balance the phone. Yeah, my dad this morning before he went to work called and was like, maybe Paul wants to learn how to drive in Canada today.
What?
So we'll see how that goes. If it goes well, then we'll maybe drive over to my aunt's.
I'm not driving over to your aunt's.
Yeah, you are. We'll see. So that was it for our first 2 days. It was a gorgeous time of year to go home, and in the following videos you'll see a little bit more of why I wanted to go at this time of year. But let me know, have you done any traveling yet? If you're an expat, which I know a few expats watch my like how I moved to the UK series, but have you been able to make it back home yet? It was an experience, but I'll talk to you about that in another video because it was a little bittersweet. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.